The problem with self-discipline starts when this image of us struggling with a certain task appears in our minds. Instead of pressing the snooze button, staying under the blanket, and skipping the gym, which feels just right in the moment, we have to get out of bed early, do the workout, eat the healthy breakfast, and start with the hardest task first thing in the morning. And this is not everything. As the day progresses, our self-discipline goes down, as every discipline choice requires more mental energy and self-control, which makes it even harder and more stressful. We need discipline for things that appear hard to do or don't like doing at all. And let's say the truth, we don't want to spend most of our time pushing ourselves to do something we don't like, because this is the fastest way to self-sabotage our efforts on the way to consistency. It doesn't matter if you use the newest productivity method or have the perfect routine. If the resistance doesn't disappear, we can act at our best. Hi everyone, I'm Elena and I'm thrilled to have you on my channel. Whether you're an entrepreneur, startup founder, or just someone on a journey of self-exploration, you are in the perfect spot. Let's get started with entering your new discipline era. Most of the tips in this video will be based on my experience. For those who don't know me, I finished a Master of Science in Architecture and started my business next to my full-time job as an architect. Since I was a student, I noticed one thing that made me perform much faster and much better, and that was motivation. When I was motivated, I could come up with good ideas, focus for long periods of time, and not to stand up from the chair until get something done. Things were just different when the motivation was there. I had the drive, the inspiration, and the power to do things effortlessly. But what is the problem with motivation? In one moment, it drops away, and the reasons can be quite various. We start losing interest when we do certain activities, feel influenced by the weather outside, or just tired and want to stay under the blanket. In such cases, discipline acts as a backup when our motivation is low and allows us to push through tasks even when we don't feel like it. Let's say it, we've all had days when we didn't feel like going to the gym, doing that video or finishing that project, but after we did it, we were extremely grateful. We start losing discipline when we are not motivated anymore. Motivation is like a wave that comes, makes us super excited and then goes away. Then we need to continue with discipline. But what if we change the definition of discipline and start thinking about it in the same way we do about motivation? Tip number 1, reframe discipline as motivation. You may say, Elena, what are you talking about? It's not the same. Yes, because discipline is normally presented in a very unattractive way. Reframing discipline as a form of motivation is a powerful mindset shift. Aren't you motivated enough to achieve your goals and to create your best life? Isn't it motivating to keep going and to work 1 year from now on the beach? If you know that this one task you're supposed to do today is gonna blow up your project, you won't postpone it for tomorrow, right? If you have one of these thoughts in your mind, the weather outside will be the same and your physical state will be the same, but you'll gain much more force and more motivation to accomplish your tasks. Self-discipline isn't about restriction, it's about keeping your goals in mind. Start seeing discipline as the fuel that powers you towards more growth. When you think of discipline as something positive, it becomes much easier to stay motivated. Instead of beating yourself for not being disciplined enough, remind yourself that this is what's going to get you where you want to be. Whenever you feel like giving up or procrastinating, remember your why and let discipline guide you towards success. Each discipline action is a step closer to what you truly want. In the end, discipline is a way to develop skills and resilience. It's like a muscle and can be strengthened. Each time you practice discipline, you're building a stronger, more capable version of yourself. Tip number 2, create the right environment. We live in a world full of distractions, multitasking, writing emails, checking social media, which makes it even harder to stay disciplined. In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear emphasizes the significant role that environment plays in shaping and sustaining habits. He argues that our surroundings can either support or hinder our habits building efforts. He suggests that by designing an environment that makes good habits easier and bad habits harder, we can more effectively achieve our goals. The same pattern can be noticed when we work on improving self-discipline. Our environment creates the setup for certain activities to happen and can eliminate the resistance. For example, when you try to stay disciplined and work on your project every day, the work environment will play an important role. When choosing the workplace in your home, where could you focus better? On the kitchen table next to the fridge, or in a properly designed workspace with good lighting, an adjustable chair, and a bigger screen? Don't understand me wrong, I also had a lot of creative ideas on the kitchen table, but if you're working on something a bit more boring, your mind may wander to the chocolate cake waiting in the fridge. Therefore, it's important to create an environment that supports your goals and helps you stay disciplined. It may require a bit of effort and rearranging, but the results will be worth it. Tip number 3, make a shift in your identity. One of the key factors that helped me complete my architecture degree and start my business was a shift in my identity. How did I do this? Let me explain to you my experience during my architecture studies. I dedicated 5.5 years, 11 semesters, which each semester I had not only exams but also several design projects that I constantly worked on. The most challenging part of each semester wasn't the exams, as it is often the case in many degree programs. We had exams and we had submissions of the design project. I had weeks with a project deadline where I barely slept, but I never postponed an exam or project to the next semester. I also did an Erasmus year and I chose not to treat it as a gap year. Instead, I took all the exams and projects from 4 semesters within a year. The secret to managing this schedule was that I could clearly see myself becoming an architect, finishing my studies and starting an architecture job. I was so motivated by this thought that there was very little resistance between me and my goal. I literally felt disciplined most of the time because I was thinking and behaving like a future architect. Looking at the situation from this perspective, it was way easier to sit down and finish a project. I imagined the person I wanted to become and started visualizing what this person would do, how she would feel, and what thoughts she would have in mind. And here is what makes this method so powerful. When we feel as if we already reached our goal, we start feeling more motivated and increase our level of discipline. And this makes the big difference. Saying affirmations such as, I'm a disciplined person, strengthens your commitment and aligns your actions with your identity. It will be much easier to stick with the schedule if you perceive yourself as a person doing so. Number 4, unlearn negative patterns. We've all had days when something wasn't going as planned. Maybe we overslept in the morning and had to go out really fast, went late for a meeting, or maybe waited at the bus stop for too long. These unpredictable events can distract us from the things scheduled for the day, and we start using them as an excuse not to do the things we want to do. In such cases, we start acting on autopilot and we can spot the self-image we have. If deep down we believe that we are not the disciplined person, at the moment when our willpower starts to weaken, we will just give up executing the task. We cannot be in control 24/7. This will be too exhausting. Our subconscious pattern will always be stronger than our willpower and will put us back in our comfort zones. To remove the resistance, we should believe that we are disciplined and create a new pattern. The best way to do this is through meditation. Imagine how you separate yourself from this person who is constantly procrastinating and looking for excuses not to do things, and how your new you is doing all these things with ease and joy. Create a new self-image. Be that person who is always achieving their goal and staying disciplined. When you meditate and create the new belief about yourself, it is very important to visualize the details. How does your day look like as a disciplined person? What are your routines? How exactly do you execute them? What is your feeling after executing a certain task? Make it look super realistic. Our brain doesn't make the difference between real and imaginary events. When you visualize yourself as a disciplined person, you literally become that person. And don't forget to, number 5, reward yourself. I'm not speaking for big rewards, but for celebrating these small wins. Discipline makes lives better. Why not just celebrate this? Small rewards also prevent us from falling into the trap of the sacrifice mode. Why skip good things in life as they will give us an incredible boost? The key is to find a balance between discipline and self-care. Discipline doesn't mean depriving yourself of all pleasures in life, but rather finding a way to incorporate them into your routine while still staying on track towards your goals. I think it's so important to maintain a good work-life balance and not burn out constantly trying to perform. Otherwise, you can fall into the hustle mentality and lose track again. This won't be effective, productive, or bring us any further. Instead, a self-loving habit can do miracles. A relaxing bath, 30 minutes, read your favorite book, or going for a walk can help you recharge and maintain a healthy balance in your daily routine. And my favorite one, digital detox. If you also spend many hours in front of the screen, try to find ways to disconnect and take a break from technology. This will not only give your mind more space, but also help you appreciate the present moment and reconnect with yourself. Remember, the path to success is paved with discipline. Reframe it, integrate it in your identity, eliminate distractions, create the perfect space, and don't forget to reward yourself. You're capable of incredible things, and with these tips, nothing can stop you. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumb and subscribe for more content like this. Share your self-discipline hacks in the comments below. Until next time, stay disciplined and keep moving forward.